everybody, welcome to my channel. Okay, I'm just kidding, you guys. This is the long anticipated video on oils with pets and your top 5 questions. Actually, we couldn't narrow it down quite that well, so there's probably going to be a little bit more than 5 questions answered here today. But I'm going to roll right into this real quick. So I think the biggest question that we usually get is about safety issues. And I think number one, if you guys are watching this, you're already doing the number one best thing that you can for safety by using doTERRA oils. So we know that we have pure therapeutic grade oils. There's no question about that. You know, don't buy from Walmart. I think a lot of the problems we see with essential oils and stories that you guys are going to read on Facebook, they're out there because people are buying these oils from Walmart, from Amazon, and who knows what else is in them. So stick with your doTERRA, number one safety tip. Diffusing. Diffusing is probably the safest way that you can get the oils to your pets and get those benefits. There is no oil that you cannot diffuse. I know Melaleuca gets a really bad rap, but you can diffuse it. It is okay. The big things to take away, make sure that your pet can leave the room. If they don't like the smell, if it's irritating eyes, nose, keep an eye out for, red eyes, tearing. If they're sneezing a lot, those are signs that, they may not be doing well with that oil. Now, that doesn't mean they're having a reaction to it. It just means that they're not tolerating it. Maybe you've got too much oil in the diffuser. They just don't like that particular smell. There are plenty of them that I don't like to diffuse because I don't like the smell of them. So just make sure that they have an escape route. They can get out of the room. And always start with a smaller amount of oil. So just a couple drops to start out with. And especially if you're using what we consider hot oils like oregano or cinnamon, definitely make sure that you're using very small amounts of those the first time you diffuse to see if they can tolerate them okay. Topical use is also a great way to get those oils to your pets. It's a little bit more difficult because they have all of that lovely fur, but I like the insides of the ear tips, the tummies, if your dogs will tolerate it, the paw pads, but not all dogs will do that. Mine don't. Mine absolutely hate that. I tend to like to put the oils on my hands and then rub them directly onto either the ear tips or the tummy. Again, my dogs hate the sprays, so sprays don't work well, but if your dog doesn't mind it, sprays will also work very well. And they are safe to use daily, depending on dilution size. The big thing we need to pay attention to is the size of your dog or the age, because certainly young puppies, geriatric pets, you're going to want to dilute those down more, and we're obviously not going to want to give the same dilution rate for an 100-pound Great Dane that we're going to do for a 5-pound Chihuahua. So kind of things to keep in mind, and I tend to do my oils in 10 ml roller bottles because, again, I find that the easiest way. So your puppies that are under 8 weeks of age and the small dogs, and even cats. With cats, though, you're not going to want to do every day, usually every third day. For the cats for topical use, about 1 to 2 drops of your oil per 10 mLs. Smaller dogs that are about 10 to 30, anywhere from 3 to 8 drops per 10 mLs. Medium-sized dogs, those 30 to 50 pounds, 9 to 18 drops per 10 mLs. And then large dogs, 50 pounds and over, you can dilute just as you would for yourself. So always keep in mind age and weight there. I think probably I'm going to back up before I move on to the next question. Oils to avoid topically, definitely Melaleuca. And like I said, Melaleuca has gotten a bad rap. It is not completely unsafe, but we do know that it is one that can cause, that can become toxic in dogs. Now that being said, all of those reports were from pure undiluted oil. Just because we know there's a toxicity potential, I tend to avoid it and use it as a last resort only. And then kitties, you're going to want to, again, avoid that melaleuca and applying citrus oils topically. But again, all of those are safe to diffuse. So moving on, I think the next most popular question that we tend to get is about flea and tick and oils for that. I know this is an oil video, but I'm gonna definitely tell you, I would highly recommend a product that is from your veterinarian, either a topical or oral product that is going to prevent fleas and ticks that you give monthly. The oils are great to help with that, but the problem is we don't know how long those oils are going to stay on their fur and protect them against that. There are some really nasty diseases that they can get from ticks, and I would not want to play Russian roulette with my dogs. So definitely make sure that they're on a topical or an oral flea and tick preventative. But again, if you're going to an area, you're going camping, you really know that things, you've got a risk there. The TerraShield is completely safe for the bigger dogs. You may want to dilute it out a little bit for the smaller ones, but it is perfectly safe to spray the TerraShield on there. Also, there was a recent study. I'm happy to find that there are some studies being done on essential oils in animals in terms of diseases and things that we can help. We don't yet have any studies where they're applying them to the animals, but turmeric is also a very good one to help keep ticks off. But again, you're going to have to apply those probably pretty frequently. So again, definitely make sure that they've got a flea and tick preventative on board. All right, so moving on to allergies, which is probably, well, of course, these are our top 5 questions, so they're all pretty popular questions. Allergies, my favorites for those are going to be your lemon, lavender, and peppermint. And what's great about these is you can use them topically, you can make a spray out of them, or in my dogs, I tend to have my dogs are about 70 pounds, so I tend to give them internally. I think it does a little bit better job. So if you do have a big dog, something like that Tri-Ease is certainly something that you can give twice a day. To help with the allergies. Now, if you have an actual skin issue, there's fur missing, they've got red irritated skin, certainly we're using that lemon, lavender, and peppermint to control it, but something like helichrysum and myrrh, geranium are all very good oils for skin issues as well. All right, I'm going to try and not ramble on too much, so I'm going to try and keep this moving pretty quickly. Anxiety oils, definitely lavender. With the cats especially, lavender does an excellent job. We use that here in the clinic quite often. I had a little kitten in about a month ago that surprisingly for a kitten was extremely not nice. Was trying to attack me from the moment that I went in the room. I walked out, put some lavender on my hands, came back. We actually ended up being able to do that exam really without my assistant even having to hold that kitten very much after that. So lavender is fantastic. You can apply that topically or diffuse it. Certainly in your more anxious pets, especially the separation anxiety dogs, storm or noise phobias. I really like the Serenity and Balance combination for those. Definitely if you're using it for separation anxiety, I would start diffusing it long before you're getting ready to leave. That way you've got them calm before the anxiety builds up. Certainly we don't have that benefit of being able to do that with storms or things like that, but again, the Serenity and Balance are great for that. Osteoarthritis and pain. We see a lot of issues, and I've definitely seen some benefits from oils, both in my own dogs and some client-owned dogs. I think frankincense is a big favorite, and I absolutely love the copaiba for this. Again, if you've got the bigger dogs, you can actually just go ahead and give them the soft gels, but smaller dogs, even a drop of that copaiba twice a day. And you can actually dilute that out in just either the cooking grade coconut oil or some olive oil for those little teeny tiny dogs, and still give that orally. I think that works a little bit better than trying to put it on their skin. I'm not sure how well that stuff gets absorbed through the fur. The other thing is, if you are putting your oils on topically, and they're going to lick it off, you may want to avoid the fractionated coconut oil. So the kind of hard, firm, you can make a salve out of that. Or like I said, just olive oil or the cooking grade coconut oil works great for that. But again, that copaiba does a great job for arthritis. I've had numerous clients with pets with arthritis notice some benefits from that.
For sure.
And then the last thing that we're going to touch on here is just immune support. And I think everyone can kind of get behind On Guard for that. We're going to use that really the same as we would for us. I think diffusing is probably going to be your best way to get that On Guard for your pets. But again, the other thing I just want to touch on is, different pets may have different medical conditions. If you're unsure, if an oil is safe because your pet has a particular medical issue, definitely check with your veterinarian. And even furthermore, caveat to that, make sure it is a veterinarian that's familiar with essential oils, because we're not always familiar with that. It's not easy to find information out there, so there are a lot of vets that don't understand the benefits. And that they are in fact safe. So we are always happy to answer questions here at Capital Line I, and I am Dr. Melissa O'Brien, and this has been our top 6 questions on essential oils in pets.
All right.